I am 90 years old today. The doctors tell me I have perhaps 3 months, perhaps less. Time, that relentless thief, has finally come to collect what I borrowed 77 years ago. 77 years of silence. 77 years of carrying a truth so heavy it bent my spine and hollowed out my chest. They say confession is good for the soul, but I wonder if my soul is even capable of redemption anymore. Still, I must speak. The dead deserved their stories told, even if those stories condemn the living. It was January 1935 when I first saw him. Kansas City in winter is a merciless thing. All gray skies and winds that cut through wool coats like they are made of paper. I was 13 years old, working as a bellhop at the Hotel President. My father had died the year before, tuberculosis, and my mother took in laundry to keep us fed. Every nickel I earned carrying luggage up those carpeted stairs meant bread on our table. I remember everything about that place. The smell of cigars and expensive perfume in the lobby, the sound of jazz drifting up from the ballroom on Saturday nights, the way the brass elevator gates clanged shut with a finality that always made me think of prison doors. The man arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. I was not the one who checked him in. That was Robert, the day clerk, a nervous fellow with ink-stained fingers who always seemed to be apologizing for something. But I saw the guest. Everyone saw him. He was impossible not to notice. Not because he was handsome or well-dressed, though he was both. No, you noticed him because of the way he moved. Carefully, like someone who knew he was being watched even when no one was watching. Like someone who understood that walls have ears and shadows have eyes. He signed the register as Roland T. Owen. Room 1046, 10th floor. I carried his single leather suitcase to the elevator, and I remember thinking how light it was. Too light for someone checking into a hotel with no stated departure date. Most guests, they packed heavy. Clothes for a week, books, toiletries, all the small comforts of home. This man traveled like someone who expected to leave in a hurry, or someone who expected not to leave at all. The 10th floor always unsettled me. It was too quiet up there, too far removed from the bustle of the lobby. The carpet was thick enough to swallow footsteps, and the light from the wall sconces cast long shadows that seemed to move when you were not looking directly at them. Room 1046 was at the end of the hall, tucked into a corner. A room that felt forgotten even when it was occupied. I unlocked the door and stepped inside, and the man, Roland, he followed me with that same careful movement. He tipped me a quarter, 25 cents. That was good money in 1935. I thanked him and left, pulling the door shut behind me. I should have paid more attention to his face. I should have memorized it, studied it, so that later, when everything went wrong, I could have helped. But I was 13, and to me, he was just another guest, just another face in an endless parade of faces. That is the first sin I carry, the sin of not seeing. The next day, Wednesday, the maids started talking. Gossip traveled through the Hotel President like electricity through copper wire. Instant, unavoidable. The man in 1046, they said, he was strange. He kept the door locked but unfastened the latch so it would not fully close. He left the lights off even in the daytime. When housekeeping tried to clean the room, he sent them away. Said he would call when he needed service, but he never called. One of the maids, Dorothy, she told me she heard voices in the room when she passed by. A man and a woman, low and urgent. But when she knocked, the man answered alone and said there was no one else there. I did not think much of it then. Hotels are full of secrets. Men meet women who are not their wives, business partners have heated discussions behind closed doors, loneliness makes people talk to themselves. I had seen it all, or thought I had. What did I know? I was a child playing at being a man, wearing a uniform that was too large for me and pretending the weight of it made me wise. The next morning, Thursday, Robert, the clerk, called me over. He looked pale, more nervous than usual. He said the man in 1046 had made a telephone call the night before. Just one, short. The operator said he asked for a woman, someone named Louise, but there was no last name, no number listed. The call never connected. After that, silence. No outgoing calls, no room service, no requests for towels or extra pillows. It was like the room had been sealed off from the world. That afternoon, I saw him again. He was in the hallway near the elevator. He was not alone. There was a woman with him. I remember her because she was beautiful in a dangerous way, like a knife with an ornate handle. She wore a dark coat with a fur collar, and her heels clicked against the marble floor like a countdown. They weren't touching, but there was something between them. Tension, electricity. I could feel it even from 20 feet away. She said something to him, too quiet for me to hear, and he nodded, just once. Then she walked past me towards the stairs, and the scent of her perfume, something floral and sharp, lingered in the air long after she was gone. He went back into his room, the door closed, I heard the lock turn. That was the last time I saw Roland T. Owen alive.
Friday morning arrived cold and colorless. I came to work before dawn, the streets still empty except for the milkman and the newspaper boys. The hotel lobby was quiet, the night shift preparing to hand over to the day staff. Everything seemed normal, routine, until Dorothy, the maid, came running down from the 10th floor. She was crying, not sobbing, not hysterical, but crying in that silent, shocked way people do when they have seen something that breaks them. Room 1046. She had knocked at 8 in the morning for cleaning. No answer. She knocked again. Still nothing. Following protocol, she used her key. The door opened only a few inches before the chain lock caught it. But those few inches were enough. She saw blood. On the walls, on the carpet, smeared across the bathroom tile. She ran for the manager, and the manager called the police. And within 30 minutes, the 10th floor was swarming with officers and detectives and photographers with flashbulbs that popped like tiny explosions. I was not allowed upstairs. None of the staff were. But rumors, as always, traveled faster than official information. The man was not dead, not yet, but he was close. He'd been beaten, savagely, his skull fractured in multiple places, his face so swollen and bruised it was unrecognizable, stab wounds in his chest and arms. Defensive wounds, the police said, which meant he had tried to fight back. Tried and failed. The room was in chaos, furniture overturned, broken glass, the telephone cord ripped from the wall. And strangest of all, his belongings were gone. The light suitcase I had carried up on Tuesday vanished. His clothes, his wallet, anything that might identify him beyond the name in the register, all of it erased. They took him to the hospital. He lived for 6 hours. 6 hours during which the police sat by his bedside, begging him to tell them who did this, who hurt him, why. But he never spoke, not one word. He drifted in and out of consciousness, his eyes opening occasionally, staring at nothing, at everything. And then, just after 2 in the afternoon, he died. Roland T. Owen. Except that was not his real name. The police discovered that quickly enough. Roland T. Owen did not exist. No one by that name had a birth certificate, a driver's license, a bank account. It was an alias, a mask, a lie written in a hotel register. The fingerprints led nowhere. The few belongings left behind, a toothbrush, a towel with monogrammed initials that did not match the name, they revealed nothing. The police issued descriptions. They published sketches in the newspapers. They interviewed every guest, every staff member. They traced the telephone call to Louise, but Louise, whoever she was, never came forward. And the woman I saw with him on Thursday, I told the police about her, described her coat, her perfume, the dangerous elegance of her walk. They listened, they wrote it down in their notebooks, but they never found her either. She vanished like smoke, like a ghost, like something that was never really there at all. The case went cold. Not immediately. It took months. The police worked it hard, I will give them that. They pursued every lead, every whisper, every half-remembered detail. But the trail always ended in darkness. No witnesses who saw the murder. No murder weapon recovered. No motive that made sense. Just a dead man with a fake name and a hotel room that held its secrets close. The hotel president tried to move on. They cleaned room 1046, painted over the bloodstains, replaced the carpet and furniture. Within a month, they were renting it out again. But staff avoided it when they could. Guests complained about strange sounds, doors opening on their own, the smell of perfume and copper. I never set foot in that room again. I could not. Every time I passed it in the hallway, I felt something. A coldness, a weight, the echo of violence that never fully fades. Years passed. I grew up, left the hotel, served in the war, came home, married, had children, built a life that looked normal from the outside. But room 1046 never left me. It lived in my dreams, in the quiet moments before sleep, in the way I would sometimes catch a whiff of floral perfume and feel my heart seize in my chest. The dead man's face, what remained of it, haunted me. Not because I saw it, I never did, but because I imagined it, over and over. The terror in those final hours, the betrayal, the loneliness of dying among strangers who didn't even know your real name.